Embracing Rejection, the counterintuitive path to extraordinary success. Welcome to a transformative journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about success, failure, and the audacious pursuit of your dreams. I'm here today to share insights that will shake the very foundation of how you approach life's challenges and opportunities. These aren't just my ideas, they're the hard-won wisdom of Winifred Simon, a visionary leader whose unconventional strategies have not only reshaped industries, but have also inspired a global movement of fearless innovators and changemakers. Winifred Simon isn't just successful, she's a force of nature. Her approach to leadership and personal growth has sparked revolutions in corporate culture, redefined what it means to be resilient, and quite literally changed lives. When I sat down with her, I expected sage advice. What I got was a masterclass in audacity, a blueprint for turning the world's no into your personal yes. Now, let me ask you a question that might make you squirm in your seat. When was the last time you actively sought out rejection? When did you last wake up and think, today I'm going to try to fail spectacularly? If you're like most people, the answer is probably never. And that, my friends, is exactly why most people never achieve extraordinary success. Winifred's philosophy is simple yet revolutionary. Rejection isn't just something to be tolerated, it's a powerful tool to be wielded. It's the secret weapon of the outrageously successful, the hidden advantage of those who dare to dream big and act even bigger. Let's dive into a story that illustrates this principle in action. Early in her career, Winifred had an idea for a product that she believed would revolutionize her industry. It wasn't just innovative, it was disruptive. The kind of idea that makes executives nervous and middle managers break out in a cold sweat. When she presented it to her superiors, she was met with a resounding no. Not once, not twice, but 5 times in a row. Now, most of us would have taken that as a sign. We'd have tucked our tails between our legs, shelved the idea, and gone back to our cubicles to lick our wounds. But Winifred, she saw those rejections as fuel. Each no became a challenge, each dismissal a dare. She didn't just persist, she evolved. With each rejection, she refined her pitch, sharpened her vision, and came back stronger. By the time she reached the 6th executive, her idea wasn't just good, it was undeniable. That 6th presentation didn't just end in a yes. It ended in a standing ovation. That product went on to redefine the industry standard, catapulting Winifred's career and changing the lives of millions of consumers. But here's the kicker, and pay attention because this is crucial. Winifred insists that if she had succeeded on the first try, the product wouldn't have been half as impactful. Those rejections, those moments of doubt and discomfort were the crucible in which her success was forged. This story hit me like a freight train. How many times have I backed away from an opportunity because I was afraid of hearing no? How many ideas have I left unexplored because the path seemed too difficult? And I bet I'm not alone in this. We've been conditioned to see rejection as a dead end, when really it's more like a detour, a chance to explore new routes, gather new insights, and ultimately arrive at our destination stronger and wiser than we would have been otherwise. But Winifred's wisdom goes beyond just persevering through rejection. She taught me that the real power lies in actively seeking out those uncomfortable moments. It's about training yourself to run towards the very things that scare you, to dance with discomfort until it becomes your partner rather than your adversary. She shared a practice with me that I found both terrifying and exhilarating. For 100 consecutive days, she committed to asking for something she thought she would be rejected for. Not earth-shattering requests, mind you, but small, everyday things that most of us wouldn't even consider asking for. Imagine walking into your local coffee shop and asking if you could get a tour of their kitchen, or calling up a high-end hotel and requesting a free upgrade to their presidential suite. How about approaching a stranger on the street and asking them to tie your shoelace? These are the kinds of requests Winifred made day after day for over 3 months. Now, you might be thinking, well, what's the point of that? Why set yourself up for failure? But here's where Winifred's genius shines through. Failure wasn't the point. Growth was. With each ask, regardless of the outcome, Winifred was rewiring her brain. She was teaching herself that the world doesn't end with rejection, that asking for what you want, even if you don't get it, is a victory in itself. And you know what? Something magical started to happen. Yes, she got a lot of no's, but she also got a surprising number of yeses. Discounts were given, kitchen tours were granted, upgrades were offered, but more importantly, with each interaction, her confidence grew. The fear of rejection began to lose its grip. This practice transformed not just how Winifred approached her personal life, but how she led in her professional life as well. She became bolder in her proposals, more innovative in her strategies, and more resilient in the face of setbacks. She created a culture within her team where failure wasn't something to be ashamed of, but something to be learned from and even celebrated. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, that's all well and good for Winifred, but my situation is different. I can't afford to fail. And to that, I challenge you to reframe your thinking. Can you really afford not to try? What opportunities are you missing out on because you're too afraid to ask? What growth are you denying yourself because you're too comfortable where you are? Winifred's approach reminds me of a quote by T.S. Eliot. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. In our conversation, Winifred expanded on this idea. She said, the biggest risk in life isn't failing. It's succeeding at things that don't really matter. Let that sink in for a moment. How many of us are playing it safe, succeeding at things that, in the grand scheme of our lives and our potential, don't really matter? How many of us are settling for mediocrity because we're too afraid to reach for excellence? Winifred's message is clear. It's time to redefine our relationship with rejection and failure. It's time to see them not as endpoints, but as starting points. Every no is an opportunity to refine, to grow, to become better. Every failure is a lesson, a stepping stone to your next big success. But how do we actually put this into practice? How do we train ourselves to embrace discomfort and seek out rejection? Winifred shared some practical strategies that I found incredibly powerful. First, start small. You don't have to jump off the metaphorical cliff right away. Begin with low-stakes situations. Ask for that discount. Strike up a conversation with a stranger. Apply for that job you think you're not quite qualified for. The goal isn't to succeed every time. It's to get comfortable with the act of putting yourself out there. Second, reframe your definition of success. Instead of focusing solely on the outcome, celebrate the act of trying. Did you ask for what you wanted? Did you put your idea out there? That's a win, regardless of the response you get. Third, keep a rejection journal. This might sound counterintuitive, but documenting your rejections can be incredibly empowering. It helps you see patterns, track your growth, and most importantly, it demystifies rejection. When you can look back and see all the times you've been rejected and realize you're still standing, still growing, it takes away the power that fear of rejection holds over you. Fourth, turn rejection into a game. Winifred suggested setting rejection quotas for yourself. Aim to get rejected a certain number of times each week. It sounds crazy, but it works. When you're actively trying to get rejected, it takes the sting out of it. Plus, you might be surprised at how many unexpected yeses you get along the way. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, surround yourself with people who embrace this mindset. Find your tribe of risk takers and failure embracers. Because let's face it, this journey isn't always easy. There will be days when the rejections sting, when the failures feel overwhelming. Having a support system that understands and encourages your growth mindset can make all the difference. Let me share another story from Winifred's journey that illustrates the power of this approach. A few years into her career, Winifred found herself in a position many would envy. She was successful, respected in her field, and comfortably climbing the corporate ladder. But something was missing. She felt stagnant, unchallenged. So she did something that most people would consider insane. She quit her job, sold most of her possessions, and decided to start her own company in an industry she knew nothing about. Her friends thought she was having a midlife crisis. Her family was convinced she'd lost her mind. For the first year, it was brutal. She faced rejection after rejection. Potential investors laughed her out of their offices. Prospective clients chose established competitors over her fledgling company. There were days when she questioned everything, when the temptation to give up and go back to her safe, comfortable life was almost overwhelming. But she persisted. She leaned into the discomfort. She sought out more rejections, more challenges, and slowly things began to change. Her unconventional approach started to attract attention. Her fresh perspective began to resonate with a select group of forward-thinking clients. 2 years in, her company landed a contract that changed everything. It wasn't just a financial windfall. It was validation of her vision, her persistence, her willingness to embrace rejection and failure as tools for growth. Today, Winifred's company is a leader in its field, known for innovation and out-of-the-box thinking. But more than that, it's a testament to what's possible when you stop running from rejection and start chasing it. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, and that's a great story, but it's just one example. What about all the people who take risks and fail? And you're right to ask that question. Not every risk pays off. Not every failure leads to success. But here's the thing. Even when the outcome isn't what we hope for, the growth, the learning, the expansion of what we believe is possible, that's invaluable. Winifred puts it this way. Success isn't about never failing. It's about failing better each time. It's about learning to love the process of growth more than the comfort of stagnation. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought from my conversation with Winifred. She said, the most successful people aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never let failure define them. So I challenge you, no, I dare you to embrace rejection, to seek out discomfort, to leap off that metaphorical cliff. Because on the other side of that leap is growth, innovation, and a version of yourself you've yet to meet. Remember, every great success story is built on a foundation of failures and rejections. Every overnight success is years in the making. Your rejections, your failures, your moments of doubt, these aren't roadblocks. They're the building blocks of your future success. As you leave here today, I want you to ask yourself, what's the one thing you've been afraid to do? What's the ask you've been hesitating to make? Now, go do it. Go ask for it. Not because you're guaranteed to succeed, but because in the asking, in the trying, you're already winning. Winifred Simon's insights have shown us that the path to true success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about embracing it, learning from it, and using it as fuel for your journey forward. It's about being loud, being brash, and being unapologetically ambitious in the pursuit of your goals. So let's make a pact. Let's commit to seeking out rejection, to embracing discomfort, to leaping off those metaphorical cliffs. Because it's in those moments of free fall that we truly learn to fly. I want you to leave here today, not just inspired, but changed. I want you to walk out those doors with a new perspective on rejection, on failure, on what it means to truly succeed. I want you to wake up tomorrow morning and actively seek out a rejection. Ask for something outrageous. Propose that wild idea. Take that leap. And when you face that rejection, because you will face rejection, I want you to smile. I want you to say thank you. I want you to recognize it for what it truly is. Not a setback, but a setup for your next big breakthrough. Remember, the world doesn't reward those who play it safe. It rewards those who dare greatly, who risk greatly, who are willing to look failure in the eye and say, thank you for the lesson. Now, watch me try again. So go forth and fail spectacularly. Go forth and collect rejections like badges of honor. Go forth and embrace the discomfort that comes with growth. Because on the other side of that discomfort, on the other side of those rejections, lies a version of you that is stronger, bolder, and capable of achievements you can't even imagine right now. The choice is yours. Will you retreat to the safety of your comfort zone, or will you step into the arena ready to face rejection, ready to fail, ready to grow? I believe in you. Winifred believes in you. Now it's time for you to believe in yourself. Thank you.